Hi, this is Scott with Specter Gear. For today's product spotlight, we're going to be taking a look at our Buttstock magazine pouches for fixed stock FNFAL rifles, specifically the 20 round 7.62 by 5.1mm magazine. I'll mention real briefly, just like in all of the other buttstock ammunition carrier videos that I've done up to this point, there are a number of circumstances and situations you could find yourself in where you may only have time to grab and go with the gun, and you may have to solve the problem with whatever's in or on the weapon at the time that you do so. And in those cases, a buttstock magazine pouch can go a long way towards giving you a critical life-saving reload on the gun, and it's always with the gun, so you've at least got a spare on you, again, should you have to grab and go with this thing and get to a problem in a hurry. Our buttstock magazine pouches, real briefly, you can see how it's set up here. This is in the right-handed configuration. I'll show you in a moment how to set it up for a left-handed configuration. But as you can see, this is mounted off to the right-hand side of the stock for a right-handed shooter who would cheek up on the left side of the stock. It is designed to interface and attach to the rear adapter that we use with all of our fixed stock FNFal slings. But you can also purchase this as a standalone unit to use without a sling. And I'll explain at the end of the video how to make that buying decision one way or the other. But again, they are completely ambidextrous and can be set up for left or right-handed application. The pouch features a single retention Velcro closure with a vertically oriented pull tab. In this case, it's horizontally oriented, but this particular application is kind of where this pull tab design came from, because if you're going to be reaching either over the top or under the gun to get to the flap, you only want to reach as far as you have to in order to access that flap and get it open. And rather than having a pull tab that extends off the end of the flap that you have to reach all the way down against your shoulder, and if you think about it, when you're shouldered up with this weapon, the way your arm comes down, you have a limited amount of space in the first place to even get to this. The pull tab being closer to the shoulder pocket presents an even more acute problem. So we designed this pull tab so that you can get to it without having to travel all that far. So you reach down, opens up, and of course you can see the magazine stowed within. And we'll go ahead and take that out and set that aside for a second, and I'll show you some of the details of the actual pouch itself, and in a moment I'll take it off so we can take a closer look at the back side. But the pouch body is designed from 2 layers of 1000 denier Cordura, just like our belt and modular pouches for the 7.62 by 5.1mm mags. It's one continuous piece of Cordura that's folded over on itself for 2 layers thick. An additional feature that we've added to this, and you can see the stitching for it here, is at that fold point we've inserted a 1-inch piece of type 17-337 in the pouch, and that reinforces the mouth opening, makes it a little sturdy and holds open, and it creates a very no snag opening, because you know, the FNFAL, much like the actually most of the 7.62 by 5.1mm mags, like the AK and the Mini 14, are rock and lock, and that means you insert the magazine in, it locks in on the stud, and then you lock the magazine back into place. And they usually have a pretty large locking tab on the back that would hang up on any kind of edge binding that you might have on the inside of the pouch. So we create a non-snag opening for that purpose. The flap is constructed of 2 layers of type 17-337 webbing. And of course you see our Velcro closure point here. The flap is also adjustable. And you will see some Velcro here, and there's corresponding Velcro hook on the flap itself, so that it can be adjusted depending on the length of the mag, because we use the same pouch for all of the battle rifle applications, whether it's the M14, the G3H K91, or the 7.62 AR platforms like the SR25, AR10, etc. They all utilize the same pouch, the only difference being the type of adapter that they attach to attach to the weapon itself. So there's uniformity there. The pouch body is sewn to a back face that's constructed of 2 layers of 1000 denier Cordura nylon with 2 layers of 1250 ballistic lining it. So it's a fairly sturdy arrangement. Let me go ahead and at this point take this off and try to do this very carefully so I don't knock a bunch of lights and whatnot over. But we'll pull this off so we can see it a little bit better. trying to do this one-handed. Not that easy. Fold the pouch back, and then everything comes off. And then we can move the rifle forward a little bit. One thing I'll note real quick on, and I, you know, it's my bad I haven't mentioned this on most of the videos I've done up to this point on the Buttstock mag holders, is that when we're talking about these rear adapters, it may be required for you to remove the rear swivel in order for this rear adapter to actually work. It's mentioned in the data on the website, but it's something I probably haven't leaned into hard enough. It's not a problem with the AR type setups, but it is with some of the, for instance, the Fnfal. We had to pop this swivel unit out. Just comes out with 2 screws, not that big a deal. But you can see here how this is attached to the rear adapter, and it consists of a rear adapter and a front retainer strap. And I'll go ahead and pop this off so you can see the back, and you can see how that attaches to the cross strap on our stirrup type rear adapter. And it's called a stirrup because the stock rests inside the adapter, just like a foot would rest in the stirrup on a saddle. But that is the rear adapter that is common to all of our fixed stock Fnfal applications. And looking further at the pouch, we see that we have a reversible arrangement. Now, it's not as simple as just simply moving this to the other side and attaching it, because you note that these are now upside down, and you're going to be cheeking up against this portion here, which can be a little rough on your cheek. So what we do is these are completely reversible. They're retained in here by Velcro. Just kind of stick your thumb in there. I'm pretty used to doing this, so I can get in pretty easy. If you're having any kind of difficulty with this, or you don't want to tear your fingers up, you can use a blunt tip flat object such as like a butter knife, so long as it's not sharp at all, and you can break that Velcro contact and pull that piece out. That's our rear retainer, and then we have our front. And the front will do the same thing, just sacrifice all the skin on the top of my thumb here, and just pull this loose. And then we would just simply turn it around, reverse the process. So I'm going to mount this in here, and then I'm going to take this rear retainer, and I'm going to slide this through and pull it to where it's centered, and then make sure you slide it all the way to the rear, and then press it down, and you are good to go. It's now set up for a left-handed application. So this would now attach to the rear adapter, and it would rest on the left side of the stock so that you could cheek up on the right side of the stock for left-handed shooter application. And it's pretty simple and straightforward in how that's done. Now, when it comes to actually purchasing this, there's a couple of different ways that this can be bought. If you already have a Specter gear sling that has this part, the only thing you have to buy is the kit, okay? And the kit consists of the pouch with the front attachment strap. There is no mechanism at the rear for attaching this to the weapon. The intent here is, again, if you already own a sling, you don't need another one of these rear adapters. You already have one. So we're going to save you a little bit of money by not adding the included price of the rear adapter into the equation. Also, if you're purchasing an Fnfal sling for a fixed stock Fnfal, you will be receiving one of these. So again, you could buy the sling, and then you could buy the kit as an add-on to that. And that would apply to all of the battle rifle pouches that we're talking about. Again, the G3, or the G3, the M1A, M14, and SR25, AR-10, that kind of stuff. So, but if you wanted to run this as a standalone unit, because you don't have one of our slings, or you don't intend to buy one of our slings, or you don't intend to run a sling at all, you just want a spare mag on the gun, you can buy this with the rear adapter included. And there'll be a specific part number, and it'll specifically call out this weapon type. So you'll be able to pretty easily find it. You're probably already on that page anyway. The Buttstock magazine pouch for the Fnfal fixed stock. And you will receive the rear adapter in order to mount this on the gun. It will come set up by default for a right-handed application, and again, if you're a left-handed person, I just kind of showed you how to flip that around and then set it in there. I will do probably more detailed video on how to set this up specifically for the gun, but for now this is just a product spotlight and overview of this particular pouch. And with that, there's really not much more to say other than as with all of our products, this is manufactured right here in the United States in Visalia, California. And for more information or for purchasing, please visit us at www.spectergear.com. And with that, I'll bring this to a close. Thank you for listening. Have a great day.